Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome all for the webinar on the topic of simplifying migration from on-premise to AWS cloud for SMBs, wherein we'll be unlocking the AWS benefits. For a long time, the journey to the cloud has felt complicated, costly, and out of reach for small and medium businesses. Today, we are going to cut through the complexity. For that, we have with us Vimal Pal, Head of Solution Architect at Cloudin. For a seamless experience, please hold your questions till the end of the session. Now, I hand it over to Mr. Vimal Pal.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining today's session. If you can see the screen, then it is about the migration, right? So simplifying migration from on-premises to AWS cloud for SMBs. And apart from that, what benefits you would get out from the AWS cloud. So we are gonna see all those benefits in length in today's webinar. So my name is Vimal Pal. So throughout this presentation, I'll be taking you through with the benefits which with the AWS cloud onto migration, right? All right. So before we deep dive into the technical aspects of today's webinar, just let me take you through with the journey of the cloud.in and our expertise throughout and the journey which has been for last more than 2 decades, right? So we are the AWS Advanced Consulting Partner, and we are there in the market from last more than 20 years. And with having the experience of these many years, we've got our data center knock support, and that is 24/7 round the clock. And in terms of managing domains, so you can see the counts, these are more than 4,000. And as part of the expertise of our cloud resources, so we have got like 100% certified resources in our organizations. And talking about the live workloads which we manage from our client, so the count is 200 plus. And 10,000 plus managed cloud resources we have today with our organization, right? And if looking at the protected endpoints, so the count is huge, that 6,000 plus. And talking about the team size, so we are 100 or plus team is strength. And in terms of our presence in India, so we are majorly into Mumbai, Pune, and the Bangalore, right? And we have also got our presence in the Delaware. Right. So, and if looking at the journey throughout, so we started in 1999 as the online portal servicing the digital ads, and from there in year 2015, if you see that we became the partner with the AWS cloud, right? We started our cloud journey with AWS, and if you look at the achievement in 2016, so cloud.in came into the existence. So basically cloud.in is a domain we use only for majorly for the cloud services, right? All the cloud offerings which we provide in terms of like AWS cloud. These all are under the cloud.in domain. And if you look at the 2018 until 22, we've got the AWS competencies service deliveries programs, right? Be it Microsoft workload consulting, competency education consultancy. And AWS specialized services and competencies, looking at like we've got total 7 service deliveries. And there are the competencies like generative AI, migration and modernization. So you can just understand the way we started and the way we took us to in the journey of innovations and the excellence. And talking about the partnership today with the cloud infrastructure like VMware for data streaming, we are the partner with the Confluent, and for observability management, we've got a partnership with the New Relic. Then Rova and the Commvault are there for the data protections and the backups. Talking about the security, checkpoints and Fortinets are the name, and definitely the AWS. You would see that how closely we work with the AWS as our cloud partnership. So I was just mentioning the competencies we have in terms of the AWS different verticals, right? So just to mention, we've got a generative AI service competency. So in terms of any workload or related to AI, ML, right, and the migration and modernization services, you can see here the competency badge as well for migration. Then SMB, a small and medium business service competency. So I would like to highlight these two, three SMBs migration and the generative AIs so that you can just understand that how well structured the cloud.in is in terms of managing workload of like the small and medium businesses. We understand how the migration and modernization can help to the partners in terms of SMBs or the enterprise grade customers, right? Because having all these badges are a kind of the seal of trust, because all these competencies, the badging and the audit process is involved like a well structured format where the partner has to go through with the different approach, all the best practices we need to follow, right, to towards our customer. Then only any partner can get all these badges. So I mean, these are the testimony which you can understand from the technical expertise standpoint. And apart from that, there are some partner programs also, like advanced tier partner and the solution provided and the public sector and the well architected partner program, right? And talking about the services and the support which we provide, so we are the managed support provider for the AWS cloud. So we provide implementation and the migration services. We provide managed services, 24 NOC support, right? The cloud consulting, advisory, whether it is related to any billing related challenges, or any cost optimization is the challenge, or if there's a requirement for a resource to be provided as a resource augmentation, or whether be it a CDN, media as services, or the generative AI, definitely. So these are the areas where we provide our expertise. And if you talk about the industry verticals, right, which we serve, so you can see the portfolio is quite a broad spectrum, right from the edtech, automobile, public sector, IT, e-com, media, FMCG, pharma, healthcare, NGO, NPOs, and startup. Okay, so talking about these are the few products in-house which we have developed, right? So the first is the CloudFront, Version Vault, Evalix.ai, Rudra Sentinel, and Freedom. So the CloudFront Version Vault, so basically it is a centralized solution which we've developed for the disaster recovery purpose of your distribution, which you create for the CloudFront, right? I'm not going in very technical details of all these products for now. Just to give you the high level overview. The second one is Evalix.ai. So it is the tool which is AI based smarter assessment tool, which we have created with the help of our in-house expertise. The Rudra Sentinel is a product which we have in the security domain. So basically, this is a SOC tool, right? So idea is to gather all the data logs and insights on a one centralized platform, and then according to all those matrices and the parameters, then we can we can just take a decision accordingly, right? And the Freedom is again a multi-cloud billing management platform which will help you track costing optimization for like multiple cloud, or maybe it's your on-premises data center, right? So if you look at, I mean, it is about providing the 360 support in the terms of like your CDN services, or maybe the evaluation platform, maybe the billing or the security. Okay. So let's talk about the today's agenda, right? So since we are here, to understand like how the SMB business can leverage the migration, right? So we are gonna just see today that how migration planning will can be profitable, can be can provide the business resilience for all the key stakeholders, right? And in terms of getting the insight, right, and what are the challenges which we face, like application discovery using AWS agentless tool, and then what are the strategies which we need to follow in terms of preparing the migration we are planning. And then again, application and database migration, again, these are the area which we will see in this presentation. And then we will again also see here the AWS application migration service, which is MGN, and how it can help in the modernization journey. All right, so first thing first. So I mean, there could be like many of you who are already on your journey, or you would be exploring the option for like migrating your workload from on-prem to AWS cloud, or from any other cloud to AWS, right? So, but the one thing for sure, you would agree that every successful migration takes a lot of planning and efforts, right? So, I mean, it's a journey. If you look at from the scratch, right? So, for any journey, you need to have a proper plan, right? Why do we need a proper plan? So that we can just, we can just budget our efforts. We can just save cost, and we can just perform all the activities within the timeline, and ultimately we can just remove all the roadblocks, right, in this work. Before planning a migration, there is a lot of things which we need to perform, right? So suppose if there is one enterprise grade company, right, and they've got like 500, 600 of servers, and the multiple databases like SQL databases are there, no SQL databases are there, and some open source, right? But idea here is to how would you understand the requirement, right, and what would be the prerequisite of that, right? For that, you just need to perform some kind of a discovery, right, so that you can gather the data, and you can get some actionable insight, so that you can just plan your next step, right? So how do you just make a sense of out of that data? So the point number two, we are discussing that we need to perform the discovery, right? A discovery in terms of what is the current utilization, how many servers are there, right? How licensings are working, right? Any contracts, right? So for all those things, we need to perform the discovery, right? And once we have those data, we need to we need to understand. We need to perform kind of a dashboard. We need to have a dashboard where we can see how these data can be leveraged in terms of what are the loopholes, what are the actions which we need to take prior to the migration, right? So you can better plan the migration journey. Then how do I group my application into waves? Okay, so once you have got the insights and the action item, right? So again, there could be multiple application which you can group. Maybe there are few applications which are performing like similar kind of work, right? So you can just group those application into waves. But idea here is to migrating those applications first, which are least critical, right? So that if we stuck in the mission critical application, once in a very initial phase, then definitely this the timeline is going to be large, right? So for that sake, we need to perform the activity where we are first migrating application which are less critical in nature, right? All right, so migration. Okay, so definitely we do not migrate all the application and database in one go, right? So basically we need to split into different waves, right? Wave one, wave two, and whatever the count of the servers, right? And then again, with AWS, we can leverage the AI, right, to plan our discovery faster, for getting the insight, and to get that insight into the actionable items, right? And then we need to align with the organization, right? And how can we do that, right? Because when we uh, see the migration process, right? So it is not only the IT team which is working for the migration, right? There are multiple stakeholders who are involved, right? Right from finance is there, right? And your, I mean, the different stakeholders, whosoever are connected with that particular business. So we have to take the buy-in from everyone so that everyone is aligned. What applications are going to be migrated and which we need to migrate first, and so that they can also be on the same understanding, right? And then how do I execute my migration plan? So uh, once we've done all these exercises, then the actual migration plan comes handy, and we have all the details that all the stakeholders, any stakeholder has any dependency onto on different functionality of that particular organization, so they can make their availability accordingly. So whatever what happens sometime, so if we need like any team for particular time, and if they are not informed, so I mean that creates a bottleneck, right? So maybe they are not available at that time, so it's better to have everyone informed with the planning, right? So I was mentioning the discovery, right? So discovery is again, so this is about the inventory details, whatever the CPU RAMs are there, right? For like understanding the licensing dependency, right? So if the resources are over provisioned, right? So we can just perform the right sizing activity, so that we can provide the more accurate server for that particular workload, right? So once we've got discovery inside, so then we do the analysis. That's the third part, and according to that we perform workload dispositioning, right? So what workload we need to club into a wave, right? Then fifth point again is a wave planning, which we just saw. The backlog creation, if we are uh, just creating this plan, we need to understand which application does what, right? So if we also need to have the proper rollback plan, so if anything goes wrong, so how can we roll back, right? So all those things we need to have provided to all the department, and then come up with a plan. Artifact generation, all right. So backlog creation, I mean, whatever the dependencies and are there for any application on database, that has to be created with the on the in the proper document and the artifacts, right? And those artifact needs to be handy, or maybe distributed to all the stakeholders, or which team is working on that particular migration, and accordingly we have to iterate with this particular flow. Okay, so participants in the migration. So we've just seen that what is the role for like different or the stakeholders in any organization. So what happened? A single threaded leader. So why a single threaded leader is mentioned in here? So idea is just not to have like multiple, too much on the plate, right? So just to avoid that. If there is a one person who is taking care of that large migration, at the same time he's having a lot of other things, right? So in his bucket. So what happens? He would not be more focused on one particular thing. So that is again the error code, right? So it's better that there should be someone who is handling this migration as a full-fledged single project, right? And he is connected with the all the other departments in terms like procurement, legal, security, finance, HR, right? Procurement, legal, why all these departments are concerned. So maybe the legal, why? Because if any compliance requirement is there, like because a lot of projects have where the NBFC is banking, right, or maybe the government sector. government sector, right? So data protection, data localization, right, or maybe PCI DSS. There are multiple compliance we need to take care of, right? So legal also should be involved and informed, so that everything is being taken care with the the proper way, right? And the security, again, security. So so once we are providing you know the uh, the the areas, like if we want to migrate workload from on-premises to AWS, so we have to set up the control tower, right? So what is control tower? That is a best security practices, which so that your data, your application and database are safe and securely provisioned, right? So that also need to be taken care. Finance, again, that is for budgeting, right? You need to understand that what is the budget, right? Or so that whatever planning you are doing, it should not go beyond that budget, right? So again, a finance team should be informed. Again, the infra is someone like your engineers, like cloud engineers, like your operation team, right, who would be managing in terms of deploying the infrastructure. And the business, whosoever ever is understanding the business prospect of that particular workload. And the engineering and risk and HR, again, all these areas are pretty much important, right? Engineers are to to well take care of the other technical part. Risk mitigation should be there, like in terms of security and what are the risks involved. We Everything should be well documented. And then comes HR. Definitely, this department will provide you the resources are available throughout this project, so that there is no dependency or there is no bottleneck created, right? So I mean, so far we have discussed right, from if any organization want to perform migration, right? So what would be the first step which they need to follow, right, from the discovery, then analysis, then creating the wave plan, right? And according to that, then you'll provide then you'll get one template, or maybe the SOPs, that who is doing what, and then distribute to all the stakeholders which are involved, right? So now in the upcoming slide, we will see that how actually the migration is being done, right? So we have seen that the discovery, where we are taking the inventory out of that, right? So it is basically, this is an architecture diagram which is telling that how we are installing the application discovery, right, with the help of the AWS migration hub, right? So this is the agentless collector, right? So we can just leverage that with the help of AWS migration service, migration hub, and that AWS application discovery service. And from your data center, we can just integrate with the AWS cloud and your application and your databases. We will just collect all the information from. So suppose you've got like your servers on premises and like VMs, right? So whatever the CPU utilization is there, whatever memory is there, so we'll get all those data, and we'll convert that into the insight, and according to that we will create our next plan of action, right? So basically, this is a very initial step where we use AWS service to get the inventory, right? All right. So once we have those inventory, right, we've got the inventory ready with our hand, and now we have to understand how to proceed further, right? If you see the screen, you can see there are multiple things like rehost, relocate. So basically, these are the 6R or the 7R strategy of migration, right? So suppose there are 400, 500 servers are running. So if you evaluate all those application, right, so you will see that there are a lot of application which you do not need. These are only running on your data premises, and if you looking at its criticality, it need not to keep live anymore, right? So what you can do, you can decommission that, right? So that's about the retire of your that particular application. So you can perform a retire. You can take this approach, and if you feel that there are any application, right, which need to have on your own on premises uh, for the compliance standpoint, right, you can retain for that application for. for that time, right? So you do not need to take that application into the migration planning, right? So suppose if you are using any application, or your team, your in-house team is managing that, right? So if you see that if there are any SaaS product is available, you can repurchase it. You can go for this approach, right? So that you are avoiding any overheads on your ops team, right? You do not need to manage by your own. Go with the SaaS, right? So you can just use your BYOL enterprise license just in case, right? Relocate, so it's basically moving existing container in the outpost. All right, so basically relocate is something if you want to have that application into on premises, right? And you also want to leverage AWS service, the AWS outpost you can go with, right? So you can go with this relocate strategy. Rehost, so basically you can automate it too, or you can just use a AWS migration tool and you can lift and shift it from your on-premises onto AWS. It's just very straightforward. Right, re-platforming is basically upgrading the OS container, or maybe from licensing to converting to the open source, right? So that all comes under the re-platforming. Refactoring, where the domain-driven design like generative AI, augmentation, strangler pattern event decoupling, right? Or maybe you are going from a cloud native, maybe the monolithic to microservice or the serverless, right? So all these strategies are there. You can plan accordingly to your workload, and you can just decide which approach you want to go with. All right, so I was just talking about the migration wave, all right, wave one, wave two. So basically, these all waves, we can it is dividing all the workload in a sprint, right, in parts, right? You club few application in one go, then according to that, like second, third, fourth, and so on, right? So that it is agile, and you are prioritizing your migration according to as the criticality of that particular workload. So there is no bottleneck left. All right. So I mean, this slides is also just we've just seen that how you can if you have on a left you can see there are multiple servers. Now dependency mapping and app grouping you are doing. Right? There are like two servers you club together, and then three other, right? So that is how you basically do a wave planning, right? You group or map dependency together with some application or machines. According to that, you can just go further. All right. So this slide is talking about the AI agent use when you are like migrating, like VMware migration. Right. So I will not stress much on this slide. Why? Because it is going to be like much technical. If I go like how this all AI agent works with the application discovery, grouping, and wave planning. So, but definitely there are AI agents which you can leverage for the migration journey. All right. So these are waves which I was talking about, like initial wave. It is a smaller but meaningful app with a fewer dependencies, high RTO, RPO, dev test environment, lower effort to migrate with high business value. Then you can plan larger and more complex app, high effort, high value apps. Then later waves, if you see at the last, these are the mission critical application apps with the significant dependencies, application low RTO, RPO, higher effort to migrate, right? So why we are keeping that mission critical app at last, so that the most intensive or most time taking things we are doing at the last, right? So a lot of things already being migrated, and it's functional, and it is available to access for your client, right? All right, so we just quickly see that how migration services we can leverage on AWS, right? So first is database migration tool, that's DMS, right? So if you have any database on premises and you want to just migrate onto AWS, or maybe you want to use it for like disaster recovery, right? So how you can migrate? You can take a help of like AWS database migration service, and down you can see the schema conversion tool. So basically it support a schema conversion tool as well, right? So you can convert your databases from like one format to another format, right? So Again, you can use AWS native service such as Amazon Aurora or Amazon Redshift, right? And it also supports CDC, like change data capture, right? So whatever data is being changed during that transition, so that will also capture that, right, before the cutover. Okay, so these are the like AWS data sync, migrate active application data. AWS data sync is for like migrating your data. We can, again, I mean, this is an agent based service. What you can do, you can, if you have like on-premises servers, you can just have the data sync agent install and get the data migrate from on-premises to AWS, and it's like both. And the data can be upgraded or maybe synced back also from AWS cloud to on-premises. So that's a benefit, right? And in terms of like what protocol it support NFS, SMB, SDFS, and object storage protocol, right? The schedule incremental transfer until the final cutover, encryption in flight, and data integrity. So in talking about the data in transit and data at rest, definitely it supports 1.3 TLS. That's the upgraded one, the advanced one. And at rest, again, that is a 250. At rest it supports the 256 SHA, right? And the upgraded one. And if you see the benefits, it's faster in the transition of target file system due to metadata preservation. Application migration service, that's MGN. So again, that's an agent-based a tool which we use for migrating your data, your application from on-premises to AWS. So maybe we will see that in the last slide, that how the architecture looks like, right? So basically, we use modernize using MGN pre-configured or custom action during cutover. So we'll see that how exactly this can be used in our future slide. All right. So this slide is basically migration and modernization is just journey. So once you are migrated from your on-premises to cloud, right? So modernization is something which comes on a later part, right? We will not plan modernization at the very early stage, right? So legacy on-premises workload, there's a modernized cloud native legacy migrated workload, modernized cloud native apps data, right? So I mean, that's the flow you can see here. The first you conduct assessment, right? Then you modernize a handful of workload, refactor it, and continue to scale across organization, modernize business critical workload. So idea here is to first you need to plan of migrating your services. Once it is migrated, then you have to plan for optimization or the modernization of the application. All right, so this is the architecture I was talking about, AWS application migration service, right? So how this migration service work, right? So I was telling that that's an agent-based tool. So we install the agent on the servers, and it takes the data from one devices, and it sends to the AWS staging area subnet, right? And it performs block level replication of your data, and it is compressed and encrypted. So on a security standpoint, there is no challenge with the process, right? And once, before the cutover window, we just make sure all the data is synced with the staging area subnet, and from there we just deploy all the resources onto the production subnet, right? So that your every data, your every application or block level application is done, and it is used on the targeted site. So this is on a high level is the architectural diagram that how the AWS ambient service works, right? So I guess we are on the last the page, or maybe the last slide of our presentation, right? So all right, so now we have covered like almost all the important aspects of our today's session, right? From the planning and how we should go with the which methodology, like whether we have to retain, retire, rehost, right? So that also we have seen. the application services and which AWS services are being used. That also we have seen. So I mean, this is on a very on a high level. We just understood that how migration can be performed from on-premises to the AWS cloud, right? So before I just go further, since we've got Vishwas here, so I guess Vishwas is the cloud.in is a all India sales head, right? And he's got the expertise of like the multiple years, right? And we can just have his expertise on how SMB can can leverage the AWS migration service. Yes, Vishwas, what do you?
Hi everyone. I'm Vishwas Gupta. I'm having 25 years of experience dealing into data center connectivity, cloud hosting, and migration. So I can help you, giving the right solutions, the right migration strategy, and help you to migrate seamlessly without any downtime. Yeah. So do let us know if you have any query or any workload which can be migrated to AWS, and you get the you leverage the benefit of the migration from the AWS, and also some funding available for the migrations. Okay. Any questions? Any query you have? Do let us know, or you can reach out to us on email. You can write here also on the chat. I can answer. Okay. All right. If no questions, thank you very much. Thank you for joining, and we will connect soon. Yeah. Yeah, Monica, please.
Okay. Uh, Thank you, Mr. Vimal, and thank you, Mr. Vishwas. This was indeed an insightful session, and you have made it very easy for us to understand how to migrate from on-premise to AWS cloud. For the question and answer, like Vishwas has said, you can reach out to us through our email IDs and phone calls. And please do let us know how was your experience with the webinar by scanning the QR code that is on the screen. Take a few minutes, and it will be very helpful for us to make this webinar session to make this experience better for you. Thank you so much.